Yo, what's going on, guys? Jay here, and today we are finally reviewing Better Me Than You, the newest album from Detroit rapper Big Sean. Now, personally, I was very excited for this album, to be honest. I'm not the biggest Big Sean fan, but he seems like a cool, down-to-earth guy. He is very authentic in his music, and he's been on a pretty hot singles and feature run leading up to this album. I was like, man, I really want this to be his best album, right? Like, I really had faith he could do it too, because he's been rapping better than ever on some of these features, on some of these songs he's been dropping. But to be honest, it left a lot to be desired. Throughout this album, Sean is talking a lot about doing things for himself and how a lot of things he did to grow himself into the person he is today, a lot of self-care type of stuff. And I love that, right? That is great stuff. We need to talk about that in the hip-hop space. But this project gets lost because he is either trying to please the critics or the charts and can rarely balance both. And that's how I'm framing my review. You guys know me. You've been watching my reviews. I normally come in with a thesis type of or a framework type of thing, right? And that is kind of my thing. Sean gets lost in the sauce, and that's why I broke the songs down into a few categories. One where he is able to balance his artistic integrity and making a song that is for the charts or for more mainstream enjoyability, and then those separate things as well, the other two categories for the charts, for the critics. But he has trouble fully committing to either of these things, and it really leaves this album feeling kind of messy, to be honest. He's trying really hard to be successful with modern trends at this time, and he does have fun with it and kind of brings them into his own space, and I really appreciate that about this, that he's not just doing the popular thing, but he's taking the popular thing and putting his own spin on it. But he's also trying to prove that he is an innovative and essential artist and innovator in hip-hop, and at points on this album, he is just not that. There are points where he is, and even there are points where he is doing that, but it doesn't come across perfectly. And yeah, I mean, you could see right now, I literally don't mind the pajama pants, fam, but this is the Together Forever merchandise. Just had to show it off, do the little twirl, because I love this single. The Together Forever single with The Alchemist is the best song on this project, and I really love that song so much, but also I thought this merch was super cool, which is why I bought it. You know, we got this came with the bumper sticker too. I'm not putting this on my car, but Together Forever. So starting off with some of the major highlights on this album, let's talk about Typecast. This is one of the first tracks on the project, and this is Sean sounding genuinely inspired and having a fun on the track as well. We get a bouncy trap beat with a robust vocal sample whirring in the background throughout. Some solid one-liners here as well, like J. Cole, middle child, but you know I get my fucking way like an only child, or could tell from my handwriting that I got signature style. And this is a potent-ish track where Sean is rapping about how he can't be pegged or typecasted, as the title implies, as one individual or as one type of thing, because he is a product of so many different lived experiences and relationships and all this stuff that you can't peg him or really anyone else down for. That's kind of the idea, where you could look at him and make your judgments or make your assumptions about him, but it doesn't matter because there's so much below the surface. You can't just typecast someone at a surface level thought about them, because you don't know what someone's been through. And at the end of the day, people are really just their experiences, right? I also think it's really cool here how he's got those bars talking about how his parents met as flight attendants, because this is a very family-oriented album, and I think that was just a cool little tidbit, a cool couple of bars as well, because that'll get mentioned later. He also uses it to say where maybe because his parents were flight attendants, that's why his head's always in the clouds and he's always being so creative, right? And yeah, throughout this album, there's also a lot of talk about his son, about trying to make things work with his baby mother. And again, I love those type of values instilled in an album, right? There's a lot of positivity throughout here, and that's why I personally don't want to be too negative on it. But moving on to the next track, we're talking about Certified, featuring Nassan. Nassan is the son of D12 rapper Bazaar, and this is low-key one of the best songs here because it is one of the most complete songs. This is a more trap-oriented song. You're getting a dark and eerie trap beat with some trill backing keys, and it kind of feels like I don't know if this is gonna be a logical description, but this song feels backwards. It's kind of like you're warping when you're listening to this song. It's very I don't know, I really like the vibe of this instrumental. It's hype. It's a good space to be in. Shout out to 206 Derek, Skip on the Beat, Money Jesus, and LASIK for this production. Nassan gives a good repetitive chorus. This is the first I've ever heard him, and I definitely will be inclined to check out some stuff from him, because not only does he give a good repetitive chorus with energy as well, with that certified, certified, certified. But he also gives a great fucking verse as well. It almost steals the show here. On this track, he is kind of rapping with Big Sean-esque flows and lyrics at points. He also has major lyrical highlights, like got what I earned in my hand and the whole world in my hand, juggle both, bro, peep the dexterity, which could also be a Control reference, of course. But just a hard bar. Sean here is also rapping about being great, like he does for the majority of this album, to be honest. That's a lot of the content here a lot of the more surface level content here at least. And he has good flow and witty wordplay as well for this track. The last track here that I feel like is a very good blend of the crowd pleasing and personally pleasing tracks that Sean is trying to make, right? He's trying to make music for himself, but he's also trying to make it with mainstream aesthetics at points so it could be popular, right? And you got to respect, you can't knock someone for doing that at points because that is Sean's job. He's a rapper. So if he wants to try and get some hit singles, I'm not going to hate on him too hard for that. But Yes was one of the singles that came out for this album, and I think is severely overhated. It had a Lyrical Lemonade video with it as well. I love the instrumental variety here and the fun personality we get from Big Sean. The menacing backing vocals really up the intensity and the stakes on this high energy banger. And here Big Sean is rapping about being that guy and always getting his way, which again, kind of a lot of the content here. And the Yes chorus with the lowered vocals does have its drawbacks. It's very repetitive, but I really like it. The yes, 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 yes. They trying to tell me no, I said no, motherfucker, yes. And Sean's hunger and passion really shines through on this track. The energy he brings makes this a major highlight. He's doing some of his best and most intense rapping verses and flows on this track as well, and has a standout bar that I love personally. Some people might say this is corny, but you that guy when I'm sleeping, I'm him when I wake. Oh, Sean does have the messages he's trying to get across and the integrity, but I feel he tries to go with trends or simpler sounds at points, which again, you gotta respect. Maybe it's not even just him trying to be mainstream. Maybe he's just having fun on the track in his own way. And again, salute to that. But here it does not translate at points. At some it does, but at some it doesn't. And with this, a more mainstream-esque crop of tracks, we'll start off talking about where it works out. And the best example of it working out, a nice, fun, upbeat banger, would be Precision, the first single released for this album, and also just a remix of Poppin' My Collar by 3 6 Mafia. That's a classic song, and here Sean's just rapping over that incredible, luxurious trap instrumental. It's a lighthearted banger, but the chorus could be a bit annoying, because again, we do get that repetitive type chorus where shooting my shot like finger on the trigger like hey, like, yeah, it's a little corny, but if you're feeling yourself, this is just a fun track. The lyrics are pretty clever, they're braggadocious, so I don't really have much to say bad about this track. It's just a fun time. And he has comical, funny, laugh out loud bars like, baby, I'm loving the taste, I think I'm ready for kids, she said, well then stop trying to come in our face. And then the beat drops, and he says, that makes sense, I'm going up like LA rent. Like, I don't know. Some people might think that's stupid as fuck, but I think that's really funny. I think it's really funny. Because especially how he just lines the beat drop up with the, that makes sense. We also got the intro where this makes sense as the first song because this is for the charts. This is Big Sean, honestly kind of pandering to the current modern trends, to the current state of hip-hop. With this almost rage-adjacent production from Hit Boy, it is at the very least a hard trap beat with some heavy electric guitar. And I don't know, I feel like this, again, it's kind of a banger. This could just be Sean having fun. You get a melodic chorus from him with some inspired flows where Sean is just flexing through, talking about his wealth, whips, chains, and rapping acumen. And this song's fun. I don't have, again, like, it's not the most lyrically inspired. It's not the craziest thing, but it's a solid, fun track. Who You Are, Superstar is the next track in this vein. And this song fucking sucks. I'm not going to lie. This is one of the more popular ones, which surprises me. It has a music video, and this is the most corny, like, cookie cutter, simple, surface level Big Sean track on this album that I've heard in a while. You got a West Coast style beat where Sean is doing an incredibly lazy, like, I be with the hoes and I'm that guy type of song, and I'm, little shorty, you're a superstar, I could change your life. Like, that's kind of the vibes here. He's got shitty bars like Pisces, Scorpios, water signs, surf those, pussy fire, I might have to go no shirt mode. Like, dog. I can't believe this is one of the more popular tracks on this album, because who's listening to this? I don't know if you guys can hear the ice cream man's coming by right now. I mean, I closed my window halfway through the start of this so far, because motherfucker across the street is fucking repairing a porch, and I just got sick and tired of it. I don't know if you guys could even hear that, but it was driving me nuts. But yeah, this song is bad. It is corny. It is surface level as fuck, and I'm not here for it. It is what it is, featuring Gunna. Kind of falls into that same type of lane. It is not as bad. I would say it's more mid, more average. It's a fine song, but not one I'm going to listen to, and not one where a lot is going on here. We have a very vibrant, triumphant trap beat from Turbo, which is, of course, catering to this Gunna feature. Sean hits some pretty simple flows and simple lyrics for this one. He also, I haven't seen a lot of talk about this, he does come through with a Drake reference. He says, and we do them more numbers than what? But he doesn't say, and we do them more numbers than what? He says, and we do them more numbers than what? He says it, I'm telling you, go back and listen to this. He says it the exact same way as, you big as the what? Like, I promise you, this is the same type of what ad-lib that Drake does on First Person Shooter with J. Cole. I promise you that. Go listen, come back here, and let me know that I was right. Now, obviously, nothing came from this, but because maybe it's not even a diss like that. It could just be a reference to that track. But also, Big Sean is not doing more numbers than Drake, so this is kind of a stupid-ass bar to begin with. But yeah, Gunna's feature here is very standard. You get the boring and predictable flows and bars where he's talking about his wealth and bragging about being the best in the game. And I'm not a big Gunna fan, so this track was not something that really did anything for me. One of the mainstream chart attempting cuts on this album that I actually enjoyed more that I typically wouldn't, or you wouldn't expect me to if you know me, is Get You Back with Cash Cobain, or as I have in my notes, Crap Bane, because I do not like Cash Cobain. I'm an avid Cash Cobain hater, but this is one of, like I said, the best mainstream attempts on this album, mainly because he switched the production from his standard one-note template beat and gave us a more lively trap beat. Sean's melodies are on point with this and match this hypnotic beat from Cash. This is like another raunchy, like sex reference heavy type of track, similar to Who You Are Superstar, but I enjoy it a lot more because me personally, I could fuck around and enjoy a raunchy track like that every now and again. It doesn't mean every track like that's good. It's got to be the right type of vibe, the right type of beat, the right flows, and it all kind of comes together here. Not like every Cash Cobain song. This motherfucker did not need to rap on this. He really didn't. He really didn't, dog. And it really takes away from this track that he raps on it. It takes away from the track that on the latter half, he switches back to that very basic sound that he does for every one of his productions. He brings that on the beat switch, does a shit verse. Big Sean has a terrible lyric here that I think is, like, as a person from New York, I am, like, offended that he said this. Off that wine, I'm fucking with Slizzy. They're loving him like the new Biggie. Now, Slizzy is Cash Cobain. And now, first of all, there's two issues I have with this fundamentally, right? There's two issues with this. First of all, he is comparing Cash Cobain to Biggie. Even if you're only comparing them based on the popularity factor, it is crazy because Cash Cobain is not popular like that. He dropped an album, if you guys didn't know. It sold dirt. It sold nothing. I heard it went wood in the United States last week. Might have even went rubber. He's a dog shit rapper. This guy is terrible at rapping, has no bars, could barely even drop a coherent 16. So that is such a fucking disrespectful bar. And second of all, he only compared them because they're both fat. And like, I'm not trying to be rude or come through with the body shaming. That is the literal only similarity I could come through with these guys. They are both fucking a little portly. They are both a little portly, a little overweight. You know what I'm saying? So, Big Sean, why did you say this? Why did you say this? We also got This and That with Bryson Tiller and Kodak Black. This is just one of the more, like, confusing moments on the album because this is a weird collection of features. You got Hit Boy and Corbett on the beat. They give us a synthy, almost aquatic West Coast trap beat that is interesting, but Sean is just flowing over it all wrong. I feel like he's trying to fit too many syllables into the chorus at points, into the verses, and it comes off just clunky at times. There's a lot of Biggie references here, which makes sense because Big Sean, big, but same thing here. That classic B.I.G. shit, I got him hypnotized. Not a great bar. And then you also get this shitty bar. It's like my parents turn to my kids how I'm taking care of their shit. I hate, because Sean really does have such great lyrics sometimes, so I hate torching him on these bad ones. But man, come on, bro. It's like you didn't try on this song. Bryson Tiller also drops a very mid-verse, talking about becoming rich and having wealth. And Kodak Black just has a bad verse. It's slurred, it's uninspired, and it's underwhelming. It sounds like he wasn't even coherent for this track, to be honest. This production had potential, and then everything about it just went wrong. It's not a terrible track, but it's also one of the longer tracks on this album, which doesn't make sense to me. Just a very confusing curation choice, in my opinion. I don't really know what he was going for with this one. Now, Sean does have his artistic integrity moments. He has his moments where he is doing his own thing. He is being innovative, where he is having good lyrics. And we're going to talk about that, but it is important to note he does not always come up amazing on these. Just because they're not for the charts doesn't mean they're amazing songs. And some of them leave a lot to be desired, like Million Pieces, which features Tiana Taylor, who has some great vocals, Larry June, and DJ Premier. This is a pretty elite lineup, where we are also getting some great content from Sean. He's honest here, he's vulnerable in his cadence and his delivery, and I love this more slowed down flow. It matches the pace of this great primo beat. There's some great strings on this somber beat. Big Sean is talking about maintaining his wealth and people wanting and expecting things from him. That's what this track is about. It's kind of similar to a track we'll talk about later, Boundaries, where Sean's talking about how people kind of want things from him. There are a lot of people who just want things from him, and he's talking about how he wants to save parts of him for himself. He's always giving stuff to other people, and now he's just a piece of him. And I love that chorus. I love that type of content, but it was not fleshed out enough in Sean's one verse, because Larry June gives us a feature, and the feature's good, but he's not really delving too deep into the content. This is a pretty standard Larry June verse, which is crazy to me, because how are you going to shell out like that on a DJ Premier beat? I was expecting more. And this needed another Big Sean verse to flesh out the ideas he was going for, to be completely honest. This is one of those tracks that I don't get why it's like less than 3 minutes, maybe around 3 minutes. And it is the same thing for the single that was dropped, On Up. I love this track, but it is so badly underdeveloped. It really makes me sad, because this was one of the best moments on the album, but if this track was produced and rapped to its full potential, it could have been one of the best moments of the year. Just like Million Pieces, it leaves a lot to be desired. We get a soulful Key Wayne boom bap instrumental with a lively and robust choir sample that also has a fun whistling woven through it. This is a very upbeat track, right? This feels like waking up in the morning on a good day. And Sean's rapping about his newfound joy of becoming a father, and how he loves his son, and how he plans to be a present father and do this and that. And it's such an inspiring, upbeat track. But then it's just one verse. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's one verse, and you got like almost a minute of this track is just the beat starting and the beat ending. And I love this song, but I want so much more from it, because Sean's giving you such inspiring rapping. You want a second verse. There's no chorus here either. It's just one verse, and it's a pretty long verse, but like, damn. There's missed opportunity and missed potential written all over this song, all over it. And it's sad, because this is Sean's best rapping on the album, almost. This really is. It's so inspired. It's so honest. And man, I'm trying not to get lost in the sauce thinking about what we could have had, because what we do have is still great, but like, it's so obvious that there could have been another verse here. This could have been a longer track. We also got Break the Cycle with Charlie Wilson, which again is a great track. It's another highlight on this album. Sean is discussing his disdain and disappointment in the beginning of the track for his relationship as someone who hops from celebrity to celebrity in romantic relationships. He has a great homophonic bar where he raps go from one hoe to another like I'm shooting par. We also see him talking about achieving generational wealth for his family on this track, and how that's been a goal of his and how he's happy to do it. Charlie Wilson does a great chorus. He has his iconic singing chops. His, oh, whoa. He's going hard with it, and you love that here. One thing that's interesting about this track is there's a voicemail at the end of it, and I did not know until I looked this up that this is The Rock, which he has a shitty bar about The Rock where he's so solid that he's like The Rock, which was corny, but hearing The Rock on this, and I listened to this track so many times, and not knowing it was him really caught me off guard, because I'm like an avid WWE fan. I'm like an avid fan of The Rock. I know what he sounds like. It almost feels like he was subduing his personality, which makes sense, because maybe this is just a real voicemail of him like fucking with Sean. But it also makes that Kevin Hart part so much more logical. I used to be like, why is this guy, like, I thought it was like Sean's uncle or something. I was like, why is he just slighting Kevin Hart? But no, it's The Rock. So that was a cool little thing I found out. Boundaries is also a good track. You have the Focus skit, which leads into this, and the Focus skit is funny, where, his homie's on the phone talking about, Sean, you got to get to the club. And pretty much it's his homie trying to use him for validation to, like, get these women to hang out with him and flirt with him. And Sean's like, nah, bro, I'm on my shit. And his homie's, like, begging him, like, please, bro, come so I could have a chance of sleeping with these women. And it's kind of comical. It kind of shows where Sean's out. But I really like this Desolate beat from Milan Bakar and Key Wayne. This is a great track where Sean is talking about having to set boundaries. And also some of the tribulations he's faced in personal and romantic relationships with people who are like taking too much from him or taking advantage of the situation, and which it makes sense why he's talking about setting boundaries. This is actually a coherent track in terms of where he's bringing in a concept and he's actually executing it to the fullest potential. There's so many other tracks that I wish came together as well as this one did, because I like the sentiment here, I like the production, I like the rapping, and it's not overly preachy. But a track like Apologize with Aaron Allen Kane feels more forced and does not come together as well as this, even though Sean is dropping you some great gems about how to take care of your mental health. You get an ethereal, acoustic, and almost fantasy-like drumless beat from a plethora of producers like Harv, John Lennox, Marshall and Parker Mullerin, Lido, and Big Sean and Aaron Allen Kane themselves are also listed as producers. Sean raps about accountability and having to remove liars and fakes from his life to protect his peace. And he's also got this slow, more lackadaisical flow. And there are good sentiments on this track, but it comes off kind of forced. This production is very left field. It sounds like nothing else on the album. It's a complete tonal switch, and it's a good track, but I feel like it did not hit the note that Sean was trying to. And again, it's another minor complaint I have about this problem. It is tonally all across the board. I feel like there's no consistency really at all with this record, and that's one thing that is holding it back for me. The track Something with Sid also suffers from this. You got an airy trap beat with Sid's vocals layered throughout, singing in the background. As she repeats the refrain, everybody's going through something. I love the messaging around this song as well, as Big Sean is rapping about going through some familial traumas with his friends and talks about the importance of being present for those you care about. But honestly, it comes across as forced with this cornball-ass chorus. Just the, everybody going through something, everybody going through something. It's like too much, and I do love the sentiment of like, be there for the people in your life, be a present son, be a present father, be a present brother, friend, all this different stuff. Of course it applies to women too. I'm just saying it from that because Big Sean is a man, so he's coming from that perspective. I love that, right? Being present and emotionally available for the important people in your life is very important, and Sean's getting that across here, but it just doesn't come across great on the track, and I hate to admit that. I hate to say that. Black Void is another like good track. Like, I like this song enough. I don't think it's bad, but it's again just such a tonal shift from the rest of this album. It is creative, but really just a left turn. It is allegedly a product of a shroom trip between Big Sean, Thundercat, and Aaron Allen Kane. And there's some sweet underlying bass from Thundercat, but the trippy, subdued vibe of this track is off-putting compared to the rest of the album. I do like it, but it does not fit Better Me Than You. Sean's faraway vocals are also cool for this kind of like personal, trippy track where he's coming through with some of his most personal writing on the track, and I love that. Until halfway through, you get these underlying fast-paced trap drums that kick in and really take away from the vibe and kind of send it in a whole different direction, where it was kind of this slower track, this more out there psychedelic trap, but now it's picking up the tempo and Sean's rapping really fast while his vocals are still far away and kind of distorted. And this track's kind of just a mess. Like, on the one hand, I do like it, but on the other, I don't really understand what they're going for tonally on this song, and like I said, the project as a whole. Now we got to talk about the best two tracks on the album, which are also the last two tracks. My Life featuring Ellie Goulding / Happiness Skit is the best song on this album. Beautiful outro to the album. This is the most focused song. It sports some soulful, emotionally strong production from Kaytranada. This song does a great job of evoking feelings. Big Sean raps about how he lives his life lavishly, but not because he's wealthy, but because he's appreciative, saying every day is a special occasion, but also sharing about his daily struggles throughout his life with these great opening bars. I've been overdue for a long vacation, trying to listen what my heart's been saying, but it gets lost in translation. I get lost in a lot of temptation. Very honest from Sean. I love this vulnerable perspective where he's talking about the highs and lows of his life and how he tries his best to enjoy every moment that he can and enjoy everything about his life. I love that. I love that because that is really the key to happiness, and here is Sean is giving it to you. He is giving it to you. One minor complaint, where is this on the whole rest of the album? Where Sean is bragging about how wealthy he is and all the women he's been with and all that. Why is there so much of that? Why is the positivity, the genuine, literal Sean talking about how he's happy in his life, why is this buried at the end? This should have been going through the whole album, and that's what I was expecting. And again, that's why I say this album is tonally off, because stuff like this is woven in throughout with tracks like Boundaries and tracks like Apologize, and of course My Life, where Sean is giving you that genuine life advice on how to become a more happy person, on how to deal with shitty situations in your life that are draining your mental health. But it's just hidden in all this crap, and tracks like Who You Are Superstar that are just such garbage pop attempts. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to trash this too hard, but it's really just such a mixed bag. I wish we got Sean on this vibe for the whole album. That's really what we needed, and this would have been his best album if he did that. I love the shared chorus from Big Sean and Ellie Goulding. It's so catchy. He's rapping about overcoming some of his mental struggles and not caring what people think, and how he's free of the shackles and of other people's perception. Therefore, he does not tell other people how to live his life. It is a great message. You've heard me say this before on the channel. If you're been around here for a while, live and let live. That's what Sean is saying here. I'm unbothered. I don't care what people think, and I don't care what other people think. And it makes me a better, happier person. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The second half, this happiness skit, is a great speech from Sean discussing happiness. And it's so insightful and so genuine and so from the heart. He speaks on how happiness is living in the moment, appreciating what you have, and not yearning for what you don't. And again, he is giving you the key to success right here. Like, genuinely, from a personal perspective. My life and your life, if you're struggling with the mental health stuff, changes when you start appreciating what you have and looking at what you don't. We're all blessed. We are all so lucky in so many different ways. You just have to take that into account every day. Again, why is this buried at the end of the album? This is what Better Me Than You should have been about. We also got Together Forever, which I also said is the best song of the album, but this is listed as a bonus track. This is listed as a bonus track, and it is a beautiful song about Big Sean's relation with his, 9-10-month-old son, and how he, he's going to be there for him forever. And it's honestly beautiful. It's honestly a beautiful thing. This whole track is amazing. It's perfection. This and My Life really are some of the best tracks of this year, and are probably two of the only songs I'm going to revisit a whole bunch from this project, unfortunately. But yeah, to end this off, you get a lot of the sentiments I've been talking about. Sean, yet again, as he always does, it seems, is exercising that he has crazy good potential, but rarely uses it to the fullest ability. There are moments on here, there are glimpses, but he doesn't do it for the whole project. It seems like he had a lot of fun making this album, though, and that's all that matters. I'm happy for Big Sean because he seems to be doing really well in life, and I hate sitting here and bringing him down. I honestly hate sitting here and bringing this art down because he seems really proud of it, and he should be. I'm just a dumbass music critic who's over here sharing my opinion, right? I don't want to rain down on the artist parade too hard because, again, Big Sean seems like a great fucking dude, and that's why I'm trying to keep it positive. But also, as someone who's an aspiring music critic and aspiring music journalist, I got to keep it a buck with my opinion. I got to keep it a buck with what's in front of me. Because, in my opinion, this album was disappointing and left me wanting a lot more. Maybe that's my fault for having high expectations, right? Maybe because I know Sean has it in him to drop a fucking amazing album. He has songs and moments. He has content. It's all there. He has all the tools. He just only executes it for a couple songs on an album instead of the whole thing. And maybe that's what Sean wants to do. Maybe Big Sean's idea of a great rap album is having a lot of variety and having something for everyone. Because on another front, he pretty much did that here. He kind of did that here. Like I'm saying, as music critics, maybe we have to shift our perspective a little bit in what we want and try to lower our expectations. Because for me, this has flaws, but it's a fun, lighthearted album with some deep and genuine positive messaging, which I love. It does hurt me to say that I will be giving this a 6 out of 10. Just because it's such a mixed bag, right? The highs on this album are really high, the lows are low. But like I said, it seems like Sean had fun with this album. I'm happy for him. And also on the finger rating of how much I enjoy it, personally on the 1 to 5, I'm giving it a 1.5. That doesn't really look like a 1.5, but that's what I'm giving it because there's not a lot I'm going back to here. But I am happy this album came out. I'm happy I got to listen to it. There is a lot of greatness here. It is just buried in some kind of surface level content, surface level songs. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in, right? If you listen to this album, I know this review's a little late. Let me know what you're feeling in the comments for sure. Tell me what you're thinking about the project. Am I being too harsh on Big Sean? Am I not being harsh enough on Big Sean? What are your favorite tracks? Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the notify bell, follow the IG talking.hiphop, go over to Spotify, subscribe to my podcast on there. New episodes every day at noon. Plus, for the next 2 weeks, bonus episodes on Friday where me and one of my best friends talk about what are the classic albums of the 2010s. Yeah, you don't want to miss that shit. You do not want to miss that shit. So head over there and I will see you guys next time. Peace. Doses.